down in New England, and there was a Good Samaritan law where if they didn't step in when they saw a crime being committed, that they were culpable. But you understand why I'm talking about this is because the fear of the laws of man don't work. Otherwise, it'd be a deterrent that would be effective. But they're not. When people are out of their mind, they do stupid things. They do things that show they don't value conscience. I mean, right there alone, they're out of their mind. When you don't value your conscience, as I say, you don't value your soul. And Christ said, hey, what would you trade? What would you give in exchange for your soul? At the end of the day, and when you know you're taking your last breath, and you know that you're going to fall into the hands of a living God, at least now you're starting to wonder, even if you lived your life as an atheist, you think maybe you liked life, you enjoyed this, and it was a good ride, and you need to thank somebody because you can't thank yourself. You didn't create yourself. It's not our lives. We're owned. We're another's property. Now, a lot of the laws of man make sense, okay? They really do. And not surprisingly, those laws are completely consistent with all the major faiths. I'm going to say major faiths and leave religion out of it, since religion is a pejorative term now, as far as I can tell, until things change, until the secular world says, hey, I've met some religious people, and they were pretty darn nice. Some of them give you the shirt off their back, and, they're not self-righteous, they're not haughty, they're just nice people that seem to care about where I'm going from here, my values, my belief system, my mindset, my attitude, my spirit, my opinion about certain things that might not be correct. Because there's a lot of bad laws by man, and there's a lack of laws by man. You understand how this works? Because evil men ultimately are at the helm. They're in control. They're steering this ship of fools. Okay, and they don't have the best interests of the masses at hand. Never have through history. It's the way they operate. So when you think that they're just, that Biden's just such a humanitarian, that's why he opened the borders, think again, what does that do for the average American worker out there when that happens? That's struggling to pay, this puts a demand on everything, from toilet paper to housing. This is a way to prop up a failed economy. I'm no xenophobe. I say that's fine. Let's let everybody and his brother that wants to come to America come. Welcome them with open arms. And I'm personally the nicest guy you'll ever meet. That any of these people that are fresh off the boat, so to speak, that just came to America, I could tell. You can see it. They just have a different vibe almost, But I'm the nicest guy in the world. You better believe it, man. No, there's a God watching me and my attitude about this stuff. So I care very deeply. I'm no xenophobe. Let me make that very clear. I'm just trying to make a point here. I mean, let's do things in an orderly fashion. We got all these needy Americans. I'm constantly having to watch these stupid Feed America ads. Do you see anybody going hungry in your neighborhood? You ever heard of this? Don't you have food banks? Stores are constantly giving food to these food banks. A lot of donations come in. I mean, there's so much money to be made in some of these charities in executive positions. What do you think? You think these people are making the ads for no money? Well, people need money, right? Well, shut up, man. Don't you need money? Everybody, yeah, I get it. I get it. God gets it. But do you understand that what ultimately happens is all these problems are somebody's job. So the problems become somebody's financial security. And there's no motive at all. In fact, there's an anti-motive to ever solve problems. There's all the motive in the world to maintain them and even proliferate them preferably. Because it's financial security. It's somebody's job. You should understand how sick the world is, the system, the secular world, how little it makes sense. All these people making these gobs of dough, these multimillionaires and billionaires. Believe me, friends, the world would go on just fine, much better, in fact, if they all just went away. Just fall off the face of the earth tomorrow, go to another place. That's exactly what's predicted to come. The prophecy that Jesus gave at the end of the age, there's got to be a separation, just like a parent. If you had 8 billion children and you see, well, this tiny critical mass is making life miserable for these. And there's a lot of people that might change their opinion about being like their masters that are telling them, go out, buy up all the housing, and then it's screw somebody before they screw you. It's cutthroat, man. You got to step on toes. It's a dog eat dog world. It's a rat race. So this is what you got to do. You either going to be a landlord in the future or you're going to be a tenant. Okay? And there's not going to be any more bloody revolutions like in history when the oppressors pushed too hard on the plebs, the commoners. Okay, there was bloody revolution. This is a different time in history. This is the time I believe Daniel speaks about, the last book, chapter 12. You read that book, and you'll get an idea, the feel for where a lot of people that are saying, hey, it looks like we're at the precipice, we're at the edge, the verge, the brink of, metaphor otherwise, the return of Christ. Okay? So we need to get ready. And some people are going to change. This is why Jesus told the parable about the weeds that I guess one of the husbandmen, I guess you'd call them, farmers, gardeners back then, that were taking care of the crops. And he said, look, master, somebody has planted weeds in with your wheat. An enemy has done this to us. Sabotaging. Somebody's like, getting rid of the competition, like Rockefeller said. Competition is a sin. And, so anyhow, the master said, no, don't pull them up now. Wait till they grow so we can identify them. So that's what I'm talking about here, is that God's in the process. Nobody knows the heart but God. Some people are really inadvertently, unintentionally evil just because they've just blindly sided with the system, the secular world religious system, the way it thinks, worldly wisdom. And they're going to change, and they're going to morph. So a lot of those that look like weeds right now are going to turn to cultivars, worthy to be saved. But the master was afraid that some of the cultivars, the good stuff, might get accidentally pulled up. This is why God is the ultimate example of everything good: restraint and patience. You got to wait, because it gives people a chance to change and to jump off the ship of fools that's careening to destruction. From what I can see, where are we headed, friends? Where are we headed? This is sick, man. This is sick. We got native born, because you're native somewhere. Wherever you're born, you're a native to. If you're born in America, then you're a Native American. You're not a Native Indian American, perhaps, right? But you're at least Native American, right? Just like wherever you're born, you're a native to that country. Because we're native to somewhere. We're a citizen of some country. So we got our brothers and sisters, some of them better men and women than us. And Jesus Christ said, that's him. If you want to care about me, my needs, then you care about the least of men. So whatever you do or fail to do for the least of these, you do or fail to do for me. You understand how this works? This is why, I could enjoy prosperity as much as the next guy, but not under this scenario. I could enjoy prosperity, great prosperity, extravagant lifestyle once he can enjoy it and she can enjoy it, when better men and women than me, and certainly when Jesus Christ, first and foremost, can enjoy it, okay, without feeling guilty that so many people aren't feeling lucky. They're being able to do anything but enjoy extravagance and luxury and prosperity, okay? You understand? I want to enjoy it, but I can't. I already feel guilty enough about what I have. And most people would scoff and laugh and say, oh my God, he's just trying to compensate because, look, what's he got? But in my mind, I'm rich. I've had a wonderful life. I could care less. Money, ownership, all this crap, it means nothing to me. Nothing. It's delusional to believe in ownership, period, that you can own your money or your stuff. If you die today, where's your money and stuff? You taking it to the next world? You understand? It's stupid. It's all usership, unless you want to be willfully delusional. And that's how a lot of people think in this world. That's a big problem. That's how people inadvertently, unintentionally become evil. Their values are screwed up. Their mindset is screwed up. Their way of thinking, their belief systems, their opinions about stuff is screwed up. We got all these arbitrary laws by man. Age. It's all like age-related stuff, right? Nobody gonna let Mother Nature decide. I mean, the teenagers, yeah, we know that's okay. We're not gonna arrest them for having sex with each other. That's fine. But once you're 18, no more underage. And you know, the arbitrary, like the alcohol one, remember that? And tobacco, I think they've done it with tobacco where it was 18 and then, oh, no, now we're going to change it to 21. So they just pick these magic numbers arbitrarily and capriciously, but not let Mother Nature decide. We're not going to let science even. You see, science can get in and say, well, you know, this and that, about this and that, and, you know, this is just the way Mother Nature is, and she's a crazy old gal, and, you know, whatever. But you understand that it's arbitrary, the world system, and then there's no laws. I mean, there's no law. Why don't we have a law where as soon as a senator or a congressman or woman or a president has ratings, I mean, if we've got reliable ratings, unbiased, untainted polls that can really show that, you know, that this leader, because that's what they're supposed to be, the leaders of the government being we the people, not we some of the people, we all the people, that as soon as they go below 50%, I mean, we bandy this term democracy around, right? And doesn't that have everything to do with the simple majority? The majority gets their way, but to most people, seems fair, right? Sure, it seems fair. Then immediately, let the laws act immediately. You're out. We get somebody new in. That's it. That's it. As simple as that. We take polls. Do we like the mayor anymore? Do we like the city manager anymore? Do we like the police chief or the sheriff or, you know? And a lot of times people do. They love them. They love these people. They think they're great. And that's I don't have a beef. You know, I'm not cynical about everybody's job. You know, most law enforcement people I've ever met have been very decent, upright, nice human beings with good, sound, solid family values, Christian values. I hesitate to use that term, but you know, this country was founded on Christian principles. Why should we should be ashamed of that? That's a beautiful thing. That's the kind of thing that gave us our Constitution. That ultimately, only God can decide our destiny as a nation, as a people. But now, I want to be proud of this country, but we've become the laughingstock of the planet. What a bunch of fools and idiots. Look what they've let their government leaders do to the nation, destroying the value of their currency. Gradually, they couldn't have done this overnight. Could you imagine in the early 1960s when minimum wage workers earned $1 an hour and the leaders came out and said, hey, it's going to be worth a fraction of a penny next week. But here's the thing. You're going to make more money. Look, you're going to make $10. You're going to make $10. So don't worry that, you know, it's worth only, you know, this is what they would have had to convince the people to swallow. That this middle class life that a minimum wage job has been able to afford you, and when your wife could stay home and take care of the family, you had disposable income on $1 an hour. Yeah, that's the America I remember as a child, friends. You pay your mortgage with 1/4 of your income. That was a long-standing principle, and you never wanted to take a second mortgage, even if the first mortgage was a bad thing to have. But, you know, you're supposed to be able to save up and pay cash for your house. I mean, I remember when my parents bought a house in Santa Cruz, California on the beautiful Monterey Bay. Just a regular suburban home, $8,000. It was an arm's length transaction. In other words, it wasn't a foreclosure, or short sale, or auction or something. It was just the regular going price. So that means if you were grossing about $200 a month at $1 an hour, right, or maybe a little over in the mid 60s, then Your mortgage was about maybe 20, maybe 50 bucks, 50, 60 bucks. Maybe you could buy a really nice house for 70, 80 bucks. Would have been a lot of money to spend for a really nice house every month on a mortgage. That's if you didn't pay cash for it. That's America I remember.